What's up, everybody? My name is Bobby. I do music. Today we are checking out the JHS Muffuletta. This is by no means a new pedal. In fact, I have one of the older versions. The new ones that you buy now from Sweetwater and Guitar Center and all that have this kind of army green color. Mine's black. It's the same pedal. But this is JHS's take on 5 classic fuzz circuits, plus their own mod on one as well. And yeah, we're going to dive into it just because I like showing off my toys. And I don't know, maybe I'm not here to compare whether or not it sounds just like these old versions of Muffs. I don't care. I care that it sounds good and that I enjoy playing it. And so hopefully this helps you make a decision as well. So the JHS Muffuletta signal chain is my trusty Ibanez S320 with the DiMarzio D-Activator pickups. This thing is loud as hell. Going into the Muffuletta, today we're on the Friedman BEBB again, on the clean side of it. I've also got the Fryette Deliverance over here, set to kind of a breakup. We might mess with that later. I do like how the Fryette takes fuzzes, so. But that's going through my 2 notes Torpedo Live. I've got my delay and reverb. Links to everything here and in the description for videos on the other gear that I've already done videos on. But today let's talk about the Muffuletta. So, just to give you a baseline, here is the clean side of the BEBB. The tiniest little bit of breakup, but it's like really clean. So, the Muffuletta, 3 standard controls. We've got volume, sustain or gain, and tone, which is tone. And then we've got the 6-position rotary knob here. And this is all analog, how it's switching through all of this. But we've got the Civil War version, which I'm going to check my cheat sheet here. The Civil War version was 91 to 93, a version 7. And it's best known for having more mid-range and an overall brighter tone with less gain. We've got the Russian, which is 99 to 2009 version 8, named by the Made in Russia text found on the bottom of the pedals. Less clarity, less low end, great garage type sound. And then we've got the Pi, which is the one with the pie on it. The symbol, not like eat pie. And a more aggressive sound. I personally find it has a lot less low end. The triangle mode is the original classic V1. And then the Ram's Head, which is a, V2, which is going to have a little bit less mid-range and a little bit smoother tone. And then the JHS 2015 mod, which is Josh's own take on the circuit, which is really loud, really mid-forward. Apparently it works well on bass, too. I haven't actually tried it on bass. Maybe we'll do that later. Anyway, we're going to start with everything set to noon on the Civil War mode, and we'll just kind of go through everything from there. So starting from here, we'll kick it on. Now I lost a little volume, that's okay. We'll bring it back up. And the tone knob does that classic Big Muff thing where it's got this weird kind of dip that moves as you roll the tone up. So tone all the way down. Gets really thin and nasty up top. For me personally, I like big muffs. I kind of like depending on the amp they're playing into, I like the tone to like just where it just starts to crack open the treble, right around. Let's find it. For this particular mode, and into the BEBB, I'm liking the tone at about 1 o'clock. That's where it just sort of feels overall balanced. You can get the clarity in the top end. But it's still full, it's not harsh, it's not hollow in the bottom end. So that's what I tend to go for. Let's go through sustain on this mode, starting from off. So that's our gain range. I'm going to keep us at about 1:30, 2 o'clock-ish, somewhere in there. And what I want to do now is quickly go through the different modes so you can hear there's a very obvious difference between them with everything else set the same. I'm going to rifle through those really quick, and then we'll come back around and talk a little bit more detail and kind of play around with them. So here's our Civil War mode. Here's our Russian mode. Here's the pie. Classic triangle. Ram's head. And the custom JHS mode. So they're all different flavors of muff. And again, I'm not interested in whether or not they sound like the original thing, that they're based on the original circuit. I'm interested in, does it sound good? Is it useful? Is it fun to play? And for me, yeah, this is awesome. I still have it on my board. You know, I've had it for about 4 or 5 years now, I think. And I'm not an everyday fuzz user, but like this is the fuzz I go to when I need fuzz. So yeah, having the options and the different palette in the different modes is super awesome to me. Just giving me quick ways to cycle through all those different sounds and palettes. And I'm going to keep playing. So we're back in the Civil War mode, which the triangle, and the JHS mode are my 3 favorite just because they're most, to my ear, well-rounded, the most dynamic, but the other ones definitely have their uses, and I mess around with them too. So, starting, comparing the Civil War to the Russian mode, here's Civil War. And actually, thinking about it, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to switch this over to triangle. Because this is based on the original Big Muff Pie, and so that we can use this as sort of our baseline to compare everything else to. So we're going to stick with the triangle for now. to Civil War. Civil War feels a little bit more mid-forward. It's a little bit more, ever so slightly more dynamic. And it's less of that fizzy high end that the Triangle has. I'll go back and forth again. Let me bring up the tone just a little bit to accentuate that. Yeah, so different flavors. Let's go back to Triangle, and we're going to compare to the Pi mode. And what I normally hear the difference between those two is they're very similar, but the Pi has less low end on it. Let me get that tone under control again. Go to the Pi. So we lose a little bit of mid-range and low end, and a little bit of volume too. I'm going to bump the volume here so we can compensate. I like this for if I'm layering fuzz on top of other guitars and I just want the sizzle. This kind of helps me knock the rest of the stuff out of the way on the way into recording. So instead of having this full woolly, full body, instead I've got this. So that's the Pi. Back to the Triangle, we'll compare it to the Russian. Back to the Triangle. A little bit smoother in the upper mids, less kind of growly, I guess, up there. It's a little bit smoother, but otherwise very similar qualities. Triangle might be a little bit more open sounding too, a little bit more dynamic. I'm going to roll the tone back. Nice and thick on the Triangle. Kind of woolly on the Russian. So depending on where the tone is at too, it affects that a lot depending on the different circuit you're on. So just tons of range here. Back to the Triangle. Go to the Ram's Head. The Ram's Head is, of course, smoother. I kind of want actually, I don't think I've done this before. I want to compare the Ram's Head to the Russian, the star icon. ram's head's got a little bit of a stouter low end. Let me roll the tone back here. On the Russian mode, ram's head. It's got that thicker thing going on. Of course, the ram's head was David Gilmour's fuzz of choice. I don't have a boost hooked up to this right now to try to get closer to that, but, you know, something. That kind of thing. So really smooth, warm. Yeah, that's that. And then back to the triangle, we'll listen to the JHS mode. Now, I do know the JHS mode is a lot louder. It's louder, it's a lot more full, a lot more mid-range especially. I like the JHS mode actually for fuzz leads if I need to take a, you know, sort of... Back to the triangle. Yeah, huge volume drop there. Now, with fuzz up that high, it can be kind of hard to hear the gain differences too. So I'm going to roll the gain, the sustain back, just so you can hear overall, broadly, you know, which ones have more or less gain. So that's the JHS mode. The the Russian one, the Star mode, definitely has the least gain by a long shot. The rest of them are pretty comparable. A lot of it just comes down to the overall tonal quality of it, the volume, and just how dynamic it is as well. And like I said, I like the Civil War one for most of that more dynamic stuff. It actually works really well as just more of a distortion than a fuzz. It's almost, dare I say, ratty. You get the sustain way up though. And so all of those are into the clean side of the BEBB. Let's switch over to the Deliverance that I've got kind of set up, the Fry Deliverance module that I've got kind of set up as low crunch, I guess. I don't think anyone would call that clean. Single coils it cleans up, but full humbucker. We're hovering right around back in black AC/DC levels of gain there. So the reason I wanted to do this is just for me. The Fry Deliverance, as I mentioned in that video, up here, is it's really lean in the bottom end, and it takes thick fuzzes like a muff really well. Some other amps, when they get too distorted, they sort of devour the fuzz in an unpleasant way and soak it up, and it just gets muffly and mushy. The Deliverance really retains the character. Let's go. And again, we're starting from here. So yeah, that's the Muffuletta. As a little bonus here, I'm going to plug this into my bass rig, which you've never seen before. So this ought to be fun. We're going to plug it into the bass rig and check out the JHS mode, specifically just because Josh says it sounds good on bass. So let's do that. This is a guitar, though. One sec. I've always wanted to do that transition. So we're plugged into my bass rig now. The signal chain is this Marcus Miller Sire active jazz bass copy, active EQ passive pickups. I have the EQ bypassed. Everything's just wide open, both pickups, tone all the way up, volume all the way up. That goes through the Muffuletta, which is currently bypassed. And the signal chain, just really quick, there's a Hyperluminal from Darkglass in front doing a little compression, into a Vintage Deluxe, into an Empress bass compressor, and then into a 2-Notes Torpedo Cab M, which is bypassed at the moment. So we're just getting raw, direct bass tone, which without the fuzz sounds like this. Pretty straight ahead, a little bit warmed up, Vintage Deluxe, Darkglass, doing a little bit of that if I take that out. But I like it just as sort of a preamp, as an amp to play into. Let's hit it with the Muffuletta in JHS mode. That sounds pretty good. I'm not too mad at that at all. I am going to switch back to a guitar, though, because I only sort of dabble in bass. So let's get something I'm a little bit more comfortable with. We're going to do, instead of a clap transition, a snap. So yeah, we're back on the guitar, and really this is just the outro of the video. But I just wanted to say I really appreciate y'all, watching, subscribing. I just passed 800 subscribers. We're shooting for 1,000. So I really appreciate you guys subscribing and leaving comments. I'm trying to engage with everybody in there. So thanks for coming along on this little journey with me, just showing off my toys and my kind of thought processes of how I dial in tones and explore pedals. And, hopefully it gives you ideas. Hopefully this, helps you determine whether or not a Muffuletta or some other muff style pedal is right for you. But yeah, like and subscribe, leave a comment, all that fun stuff. You guys have been wonderful. Again, my name is Bobby. I do music. I will see you in the next video. Bye. It's fun doing those little snap, clap transitions. I hope they work. I won't know until later.